Today I am here to give y'all my predictions for this Sunday's NASCAR Cup Series race out at the Sonoma Raceway. And this weekend at Sonoma is going to be a very important and crucial weekend for a lot of teams on the cut line, going to the playoffs, like your Tyler Reddicks and Austin Dillons and Kevin Harvick's. Things are getting very tight, and they cannot afford for many new winners to happen. So this weekend is a chance we can see one of the new winners happen, and it can put a little damper on things when it comes to trying to point your way into the playoffs if you're one of the three drivers I just mentioned. So you got to do good. It's a very important weekend. It's a road course. Anything can happen. But I'm also here to talk about the Pick 5 contest I'm going to do. All you got to do to enter is comment down below in the comment section your top 5. If you go 5 for 5, you get an autograph of your choice. And if you go 4 for 5, you get an unsigned hero card of your choice. So comment down below to be entered. But woo, a minute and 2 seconds already. I talked well enough. So let's just get started.
Hey, it's Ricky Stenhouse Jr. here at Kroger, and you're watching William Blackwell on YouTube.
Before I talk about Sonoma, I am wanting to talk about Gateway. And Gateway this past weekend, I don't know, it kind of lived up to expectations. It was not bad by any means, because we saw cars actually having a chance to pass one another. Not like your Phoenix race, your Martinsville and Richmond. Those were just 3 brutal races to watch. They were just terrible. But Gateway, you did have the opportunity of cars getting past one another. It did take a lot of work, but it could happen. And we did see a lot of comers and goers. We saw Chase Briscoe out front leading a ton of laps, cuts a tire, and track position was not in his favor for the rest of the day. And track position was key. And that's what happened for Logano at the end. He was up front, had a good restart in overtime, and went on to win the race. That is Logano's second win of the year. I am sure many more will come down the road, but yes, they're building up momentum for this 22 team. They're going to Sonoma, a track they've kind of been iffy at in the years past. Logano especially. Paul Wolfe has been towards the bad side of things when he was with Brad Keselowski, but hopefully this pairing will turn things around with their history at Sonoma. And after that, you go to Nashville, a track Logano is really good at, and then you go to, I think it's Road America, then Atlanta. They're starting to go into tracks where the 22 is really good at. And if I'm a competitor of the 22, I'm getting worried, like really worried, because this car is coming on hot, and so is the team in general. Look at Austin Cindric, look at Ryan Blaney, and obviously Logano. They are very strong right now, and you got to fear them because they're really good. But Logano went on to win the race. But the main discussion for the whole entire weekend is going to be Ross Chastain going up against Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott in a handicap match. A 2v1. Not fair at all. It started early on. The 11-car Denny Hamlin was racing the 1-car Ross Chastain. And Ross Chastain did not intentionally put him in the wall, but he did overdrive turns 1 and 2, and it forced him to go into the 11, and the 11 went into the wall. And when the 11 hit the wall, and his day was pretty much over for being competitive and going for the win. So his main priority was making sure that one car did not have a chance to win the race. And round 1 was a Ross Chastain victory, I guess you can say. Round number 2, Denny Hamlin slowed all the way down, and once the lead lap cars got past him, he waited for Chastain, missed his opportunity. So Chastain, a little bit 2-0 right there at this point in time. They met again. Chastain was slowed down tremendously. Denny Hamlin got the win there in that little mini battle, I guess you can call it. Later on, Chase Elliott got dumped by Chastain. It was on a restart. It was a racing incident, so that pretty much ended the debate there. Chase Elliott did have a little bit of controversy with B.J. McLeod. McLeod was not happy with the young driver from Dawsonville, Georgia, but I'm sure they'll settle things out throughout the week over phone or via text. But wow, had a lot of controversy out in Gateway. I'm sure a lot of that will carry over into Sonoma. Remember Chastain, last time on the road course, he won, but in a controversial manner. He wrecked the 16 car and 48 car on the last lap at COTA. So, can we see it again? Probably so. Let's talk about it now. Heading into this weekend at Sonoma, I am going to look at previous stats from similar tracks to base my predictions off of. But winning this Sunday's race out in Sonoma will have to be the 14 car of Chase Briscoe. Chase Briscoe is a very well-rounded road course racer. He's very disciplined. And if you can stay very disciplined through the 90-lap race out in Sonoma, I think he will come out victorious with his second win of the season, but more importantly, his second career win. How about that? Chase Briscoe getting the win out in Sonoma, in my opinion. So there you go. Chase Briscoe wins. Number 2 in the lineup will be Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin last week at Gateway, I've already mentioned it, was a total disaster. Early on was competitive, but him and the one car got together, and the Hamlin's chances of being competitive and going for the win were over with, and he made it sure that Chastain did not go on to win the race, and he slowed down so many times just to try to wreck the car. Chastain, very dirty. NASCAR did not like it. I am surprised they did not park him or hold him for a couple of laps on pit road. He got very lucky there, but he will turn things around here at Sonoma. This is a track he's done very well at in the past, and P2 for him, I don't know. It'd be a tough pill to swallow, but I think they'll be all right with a P2 result. There you go. Chase Briscoe winning, Denny Hamlin second. But who will finish P3 in position 3? And it will be Ross Chastain. Chastain early on this year won out in the Circuit of Americas. And this time around, I think he will be competitive, but I don't think he's going to be as controversial as a result for him as it was in Coda, wrecking the 16 car of Allmendinger and the 48 car. That was a weird scenario. Not many people think about it. But the 16 car, he got past the one car of Chastain, and Chastain got passed by the 48 car. And Chastain thought if he bumped into the 48 would probably bump into the 16 car, and they'll both go off track, and you can go on and win the race. That's what he did. It was very crazy. If you haven't really seen it or paid much attention to it when it happened, go check it out on YouTube, because, I don't know, it'll catch your attention. But Chastain will finish P3. P4 is going to be the 4 car of Kevin Harvick. This past weekend in Nashville, Gateway, for crying out loud. Out in Gateway, Kevin Harvick blew a tire. Well, a couple of laps to go, which forced the race to go into overtime, where we saw Logano hold off Kyle Busch and got the second win of the season for the 22 camp. But Harvick hit the wall extremely hard. That wall hit was hard for him, but it was also hard for him in the point standings. He lost a lot of points. And if you're Harvick, you're going to have to win the race to make the playoffs. Simple as that. It's not going to happen by pointing your way in. You got to win. And I believe their time will come. I look at it possibly in Atlanta as a track to win at. It's quite unknown. It's a plate race pretty much. So you really can't get too high up on that win, like saying you're a championship contender from winning Atlanta. No, but you still get into the playoffs. And once you get into the dance, anything can happen. But this weekend, I think they will build up some momentum by finishing P4, which ain't a bad result, but it's building up momentum, like I said, and momentum can go a long way. But rounding out my top 5 will be the 16 car of A.J. Allmendinger. A.J. Allmendinger, man, this past weekend was very busy. Friday, out in Portland, qualifying and practicing the 16 car, Xfinity car. Next day, he races in Portland and goes on to get the win. But early on, before he even took the green flag, he was off track and had a pit. He was behind the 8 ball. And he came back and won the race. The race didn't end about 9 o'clock Eastern clock time. And so his flight did not get out from Portland to St. Louis until about midnight. Carried a trophy with him. Went to St. Louis in the morning, did all of his media obligations and sponsor obligations, and got to racing. Had a great result, a top 15. Man, A.J. Allmendinger is on fire right now. I think he will get a top 5 here at Sonoma, but it would not surprise me at all to see him going for the win when it's all said and done. He's a phenomenal road course racer, and I don't know, maybe in the back of his head he's thinking about regretting going from full-time Xfinity to Cup. He declined that offer this year, but I think he might have wished he was racing a Cup, because I think right now he's in the competitive ride for these part-time races, going for wins. Maybe he could have gone for a championship. I don't know. That might be speaking a little too far, and I don't know. Allmendinger's in a good ride. Do not expect him to go out this weekend and just be flat out bad. He's going to be good, so don't count him out at all. Put him in your fantasy lineup. But my dark horse here will be Austin Cindric in the 2 car for Team Penske. Like I stated about the Gateway result, the Penske cars are starting to come alive, and you're wanting to fear them right now. But when I look at a road course, I automatically think of Austin Cindric, but he is very inconsistent. He can either one week go out there and dominate, lead a lot of laps, win stages, and come home inside the top 5, or the other week he might be dead last. And this could be one of the either way weekend. And I can see him going up front, leading laps, but at the same time, I can see him struggling. Very inconsistent, a very risky pick here, but Austin Cindric will be my dark horse. But there you go, Chase Briscoe picking up win number 2 of the 2022 campaign. Denny Hamlin will finish second. P3 will be Ross Chastain. P4 will be Kevin Harvick from Stewart-Haas Racing. And then rounding out my top 5 will be A.J. Allmendinger from Colleague Racing. And then my dark horse, a long shot here, a little risky here, so don't put him in your fantasy lineup right away, will be Austin Cindric in the 2-car. He does have background in road racing, so yes, that's why I put him up there. He's a very talented driver. He's won the Daytona 500 this year, so strategy, if it were to become the risky, I think Jeremy Bullins will press the needle and make some aggressive calls if he had to go win the race. So don't count him out at all. Please like and subscribe.